My daughter is officially 5 months old, and we took her to the Renaissance Fair this past weekend, and it was such a blast. It was so much fun. And as I was watching her experience the Renaissance Fair for the first time, yes, as a 5-month-old, I realized something about myself, a part of myself that I had kind of hidden away and that I've lost. And I just want to talk about how the innocence and the whimsy that children see, how that can really revive something that I think gets lost as you go through adulthood. So let's jump in. Hello friend and fellow adventurer. My name is Kayla. I'm a multi-passionate creative doing all the things and documenting my messy middle so you don't feel so alone in yours. Welcome back to Sidequests and Sideeyes, part strategy guide, part cozy tavern, and all unhinged chaos. Around these parts we hardcore side-eye hustle culture, we go the pace of grace, which is really slow, and we celebrate every small win. Showering counts. Technically, my first Renaissance Fair was when I was very young. I grew up in New Mexico. They used to have this Renaissance Fair. I think they still do, but I haven't been in ages. I remember going once or twice when I was a kid, but it never really became a routine thing until about 4 or 5 years ago when a friend got my husband and I back into the Renaissance Fair. He just kept telling us how fun it was, and so we thought, well, we're nerds. Let's do this. Our first one was the Michigan Renaissance Fair in Holly, Michigan, and it was a blast. It was a blast. And we went, I think, 2 or 3 years in a row before we moved. And basically, for the last 4 to 5 years, I have now made it a point to go to every Renaissance Fair, every Comic-Con, every Viking festival, Scottish festival, anything that has to do with feeling like you're being transported to another world, you get to dress up. I have made a point to go because I learned very early on that some of the nicest, literally some of the nicest people on the planet, you will find at a Renaissance Fair. Some of the kindest people on the planet are at a Renaissance Fair. Maybe it's because we're all weird and we know how cruel life can be, and so we're all just basically LARPing together in this really fun experience, and you get to see all these artists and craftsmanship. It's fun. It's just a blast. And so this year I went on my own because I didn't know, at that time my daughter was going through a little bit of a sleep regression with her naps, and so I just didn't know if it would be worth trying to take her. But then my husband said, hey, why don't we just do it? Why not? We said as parents, we didn't want to stop doing things. We wanted to still be ourselves and still involve our daughter in the fun things that we like and we're passionate about. So I said, hey, you're right. Let's do this. And we went. She loved it. It was a blast. She's a very highly observant baby. She sees absolutely everything, notices absolutely everything, which makes me very nervous because as she gets older, I'm like, you're going to be the girl that hears everything and goes and tells the pastor at our church that, mom said a bad word or something, because she's just going to hear and see absolutely everything. So she's observing. I mean, she's just locked in, and I don't share her pictures or her name or anything online. And I wish I could show you because literally just her eyes were just big with wonder at the costumes. When we were at the blacksmith, she was locked in. She really liked the glass blowing. Something about fire, I guess. And it was rainy that day. Never been to the Renaissance Fair when it was rainy. And let me tell you, it gives a different vibe. And it was very cool. It was very cool. I was all about the rainy day vibes at the Renaissance Fair. We'll definitely do that again. As long as it's not pouring, just kind of sprinkling. But because it was raining, they didn't do the jousting, which was kind of a bummer because I knew she would probably enjoy that. But we did get to stop by and see the horse. They brought the horses out so people could still say hi, and she loved the horses. But as I was watching her observe everything, and the just sense of wonder, everything was new. Everything was new and just amazing. I think it reminded me of how much I've suppressed that part of myself at times. I think I am a pretty whimsical person. I think I am somebody who is okay with being nerdy and getting excited about silly nerdy things, but I've realized how much of that I really actually have suppressed because of fear of people thinking I'm weird, of actually people saying I'm weird, or getting strange looks when I get excited about, some random, Star Wars character, and realizing that it's not new information, right? This is nothing new, but as we get older as adults, the more that we go through life, I think it becomes more challenging to continue to hold on to that childlike faith, that childlike wonder and awe and joy. She loves trees. My daughter loves trees. I don't know what it is about it, but like when we were walking, when she sees a tree, it's like, oh my gosh. Like her eyes light up, she smiles, she laughs, she kicks. And I'm thinking like, you know what? Yeah, that's a beautiful tree. And so is that one, and so is that one. I am enamored with creation. And why have I not, why have I forgotten that it's okay to find joy and love in these simple, beautiful moments? And I don't know, I realized I had lost a little bit of that part of myself. And I want to get that part of myself back, because life is hard enough as it is. And so much of life is lived in the middle of really big moments, right? A lot of our lives actually are fairly mundane. They're fairly similar on the day-to-day, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think we're always kind of trying to live to that next high, that we miss all of these beautiful little moments in the middle. And I will say, as somebody who now has a kid, you do see that a lot with kids. Like there's this sense of just complete wonder and excitement about the silliest little things. And it's not really silly, is it? That you just watch and think, well, yeah, when did I lose my sense of wonder at, that's a really pretty tree? Oh my gosh, look at that cloud. It kind of looks like a dog. Isn't that funny? All of these little moments that we have an opportunity to really love the life that we have now. There can be some really hard things. I have some hard things in my life right now. I'm struggling with my job. I'm still dealing with the grief of the loss of one of my best friends. Like there are some hard things. We look around in our world and we think about, there's plenty, there's a long list of things that we can list that are like not great right now. But I think the way we can survive those harder moments, it's not that we ignore them, but the way we survive through some of those darker moments, the monotony of I've got to get up, I've got to go to the job, I've got to do things I don't want to do because I need to eat and I need to provide for myself and my family. The way we make it through is by having some sense of wonder and joy and finding beauty in the everyday little things that we can see around us. And I say it, I say it at the beginning of my videos all the time of we celebrate every small win. I think sometimes I just forget that there's so much in a day that we can celebrate. Anyways, I wasn't planning on going on that long of a soapbox, but there was something about walking around the Renaissance Fair with my daughter and watching her experience it for the first time as a baby and still being completely enamored with the costumes and the colors and the music and the sounds and the smells that made me recognize that I want to keep that sense of childlike wonder. I hope that I am one of those old people that still shows up at a Renaissance fair and will sit at the blacksmith section for the 1000th time, already knowing what they're going to do, and still just be like, wow, wow, that's so cool. I hope I'm the kind of person when I'm old that still shows up at the Renaissance Fair and sees the jousting and already knows, yeah, this is, I know what's going to happen, and still be like, wow, that's so cool. Look at that. I hope my daughter grows up to know that it is always safe to be completely joyful about the smallest things, that she can celebrate all of the small moments in life, and I will celebrate and join in that whimsy and creativity with her. With that story, I hope it inspires you for the next part of the show, in which I, Celeste the Sidequester, bequeath to you a small side quest, a small challenge, if you will, that might make you think a little bit more about what we talked about today. And today I want you to go on your own Renaissance side quest. Maybe you're not a Renaissance person. Maybe the whole dressing up as an adult is a little weird to you. That's fine, but I promise you it's a lot of fun and you should do it. But anyways, I want you to pick your personal Renaissance. Maybe it is playing a particular video game. Maybe it is going on a random drive or trip to the next town over. Perhaps it is simple as going and frolicking in the woods. I don't know what it is for you, but pick whatever your personal Renaissance would be. Something that is going to tie you back, bring you back to that childlike wonder. And I want you to just have fun. Have fun. Reconnect with that joy of the mundane, the beauty in the middle moments, in between. In between the boring stuff, in between the hard stuff. Go have fun. That's your side quest for today. If you should choose to take this up, please take the little quiz that YouTube gives us. Let me know if you are going to go on it or not, and let me know how it goes in the comments. I would love to know. If you like this side quest and would like to dive into an even deeper side quest, I have the Do Less side quest below. That is just for those of us who might have felt like, you know what, life has really knocked us down and I feel like I want to quit, but I know that I'm not going to quit, but I don't know how to make it through that messy middle. This is for you. It's a 7-day self-paced side quest where you are the main character and you're just going to walk through a little story I made up where you're going to unequip some armor that's no longer serving you and equip some new armor that's going to do a little bit better. Instead of doing more, we're going to find how to do less with what we already have in our hands. And if you'd like to gain some XP for some magical points that I will figure out what to do with someday, you can head on over to Patreon. I will have some XP logs, just some different ways that you can dive into some other side quests should you want to do that. Now we've reached the end of the video, and my favorite part where I like to say, if you haven't heard this recently or maybe never before, I want you to know that I am proud of you and your life is worth getting back up for. Bye friend, see you next time.